It just feels weird saying to yourself, well, here's my brand. What does that mean?
Well, it only feels weird because we're using new terminology, but building your personal brand is not new. We've been doing that since the beginning of time, because really a personal brand is just another way of saying your reputation.
We've all heard this before. Your reputation precedes you. Well, in this case, we want it to. We need our reputation to precede us, right? Reputation precedes revenue.
A company is a collection of people, right? And if we build the reputations and we build the personal brands of the people, the company will always benefit.
2/3 of working Americans actually think that companies should teach all of their employees, everyone, how to build their personal brand. Why, you may ask? Because the best ambassadors we have are the people who are willing to work for us.
That's you in this room. You are how this company grows. It's the people, not the company. It's the people that make up the company.
And I think that is an evolution and a revolution of how people are wanting to do business today. They want to know who they're doing business with, not just buy products and services anymore. I think one of the other things that companies need to realize today is that your team, your employees, your members, they're gonna build their personal brand. It's just with or without you. Do you want to play a role in helping them build it so that it also complements the organization? Or do you want to let them go do it on their own? Because it's gonna happen either way. This is just the beginning. This is not the end. This is on a rocket ship that is being packed with fuel that is heading to the moon, right? This is not going on anywhere, and it's only growing faster and faster. They're going to do it. So as groups of organizations and companies, we have an opportunity to do it with them or to let them do it on their own. And this is your chance to do it with them.
Getting ready to go on. Wish me luck.
First live keynote in a minute.
What is your definition of personal branding?
Your personal brand is simply what people think about when they think of you.
And you may realize it or not, but you already have a brand. You just may not be intentionally creating that brand, but you've got one. We all do.
The core of personal branding is I'm going to put myself out there. I'm going to provide value, I'm going to share content, and I'm going to do it consistently.
Essentially, this could either happen by accident, because we're all going to build a reputation regardless, or we could be intentional. Or also, if we're not intentional, we may not end up getting known, especially as it pertains to growing our businesses.
We are all known for something, right? It may be good and it may be bad, but we are all known for something.
And that's where we really have to start, is asking yourself that question right there. What do you want to be known for?
And it is an intentional, hyper-focused effort of saying, I want to be known for one thing. And then it's how do you become known for that one thing?
It is almost impossible not to look around and go, my colleague is doing this and this other company is doing that. Stop. They are not you. Y'all, comparison will hold you back from your calling, but it will also diminish the power of your own story. You cannot compare your story to someone else's because they are not the same. You cannot compare your business to someone else's because they are not the same. The more that you compare, the more that you diminish the uniqueness of who you already are.
No, I remember someone saying, well, learn your brand. I was like, what does that even really mean? And when you say laser focus, like how precise are you really getting when it comes to a brand?
Like one word.
Really?
Oh,
okay.
One word. Okay.
What do you think would be the one word that people would use to describe you in your absence? And then once you have that down, I want you to answer this question. What do you want that word to be?
How many of you would agree that you could consider yourselves to be in a pretty commoditized industry? Yes? Yeah? So, how do we fix that? Well, it starts to become not about what you do, not about what you sell, and more about who you are.
We spend a little too much time of going, what is this person doing online? And what are my competitors doing? And what does the market say? And what do people on the news say? And I'm just going to say, put some friggin' blinders on and go, what do I say? What is my superpower? What do I know that I can do better than anybody else out there? And then do that. And a good friend of ours, Larry Winget, he puts it this way. It's find your uniqueness and then learn how to exploit it in the service of others.
No one else in the world on this planet has your DNA. They do not have your life experiences. They do not have your thoughts, your ideas. They do not own your uniqueness. It is the only thing in the world that is truly just yours. And ironically, it's the one thing that we try to cover up. We look around and we try to figure out what everyone else is doing, and we try to figure out how to do that. Instead of going, no, actually, if I would lean in and just do more of what God made me to do, of more what I'm here to do, of more of who I am, ironically, you would probably become a little bit more well-known a whole lot faster.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of The Influential Personal Brand.
My co-host, my co-founder, our CEO, my wife, my best friend, AJ Vaden.
Y'all, I am so excited to have our guest on the podcast today.
Hello, social pros and listeners. This is Jay Baer.
Welcome to Entrepreneurs on Fire.
Welcome to Game Changers with Molly Fletcher.
We have an extraordinary guest on this week's episode.
Today, we'll be breaking down why personal branding is the future of marketing.
The underlying theme kept coming back to this one thing, which is trust is the new currency.
Here's the main takeaway that I really want you to grasp onto. It's like, if you know what you do works, if you know it's going to change someone's life, if you know it's going to make a difference, then give as much of it away for free, because people will sell themselves.
Now, I hear people all say, well, if I tell them everything, there's no reason for them to work with me. Well, that's not true. You cannot possibly teach too much. People no longer pay for information, they pay for application. They can use the Google and put in any question they have on this planet and find information. People do not pay for information. They pay for someone to help them apply that information. That is you.
Make it so good that people are like, how do I buy this? It's like, can I give you my money? Like, how do I have more of it?
Give it all away. The more value you give, the more trust you build, thus creating an audience that wants to give you their money when it's time.
We did a national research study, and what we're going to do here today is we're going to share with you the findings.
We spent the last 6 months fielding a study to go, does this really matter today? Will it really matter tomorrow? And what does that mean for all of us? And some big things came out, which one was 74% of Americans say that they are more likely to trust you if you have an established personal brand. That is significant. And now let me tell you what else is significant is what we also found is that
95% of millennials say that their friends are their most credible source of product information.
Why do millennials say that? Because they know them, they like them, thus they trust them.
The rules have not really changed. People do business with people they know, like, and trust. And so how do we accelerate trust? The answer is personal branding. What other insights do we need to know that this study unpacked?
When we did this study, this blew my mind, like literally blew my mind. We said
in our study, we want to know, when deciding who to buy from, Americans, what are the most important factors that you go through in deciding whom to purchase from?
And we had about 20 different options of what they could choose from. We said, pick your top 3. We asked things like, is having a podcast significant? What about a TED Talk? Viral videos, social media engagement, a large social media online following? Is it important that you have a course, a book? Does it matter if it's a best-selling book? Does it matter if it's a New York Times bestselling book? Or on and on and on. We asked a whole bunch of things. Here's what's fascinating. It was none of those things.
And let me tell you what, this was so fascinating to me. This was number 10 on the list, and there were 4 things that tied for equal number 10. And Americans said that having a blog, yes, a blog, a self-published book, a traditionally published book, or a New York Times best-selling book carried the exact same weight. Now, can y'all pause for a second? Do you know how long it takes to write a blog? About 30 minutes. Do you know how long it takes to write a New York Times best-selling book? A lot longer than 30 minutes. It takes years and a whole bunch of money, and Americans are saying, blog, New York Times best-selling book, all the same to me. What?
What do you think most people said was most important about your credibility and proving that you have some when people deciding whether or not to buy from you? Do you know what it was? Testimonials.
Y'all, this is a Kramer moment for me.
People said, I want to hear what other people just like me have to say about working with you.
Having testimonials about what it's like to work with you is the number one most important thing across all Americans when deciding whom they're going to work with. Now, y'all, this is good news. Why? It's the cheapest, fastest, easiest thing that you can do right now by the end of today and have it online.
There is literally a testimonial on every single page of our website in some capacity. We put them on social media. We rotate them in and out. They're in our email marketing sequences.
Now look at some of these other things. To create a course, have a nice website, become a speaker, a consultant, to get paid. This stuff takes work and time. But Americans are saying the number one thing that is most important to me is having third-party validation from someone else that you are who you say you are and you do what you say you're going to do.
And then last but not least, this is something that you should know.
What titles hold the most credibility when deciding who to work for or who to buy from even? And Americans said that the most credible titles right now, in their opinion, were expert, CEO, founder, and owner.
And here's why that's significant for us. This has to do with firsthand experience, not someone who has been told something that they're regurgitating out in the market, which we may get from a book or a speech or a host of a podcast. No, I want someone who has done it and then can tell me in firsthand experience. This is why these titles are really important when building an influential personal brand. Here's one of the things that we have found is that you, the individual, the personal brand, is way more significant than your business today. Do yourself a favor. Go online after you watch this video, and I want you to see how many followers Richard Branson has compared to Virgin. How many does Tesla have compared to Elon Musk? They're not comparable, not even close. Why? It's the individual that we're interested in. But every single time you look at those people's profiles, we learn about the company and we become more interested in how did this individual build this company. Now imagine if we multiplied that times 10 or times 50 or times 100, or multiplied based on how many other people are a part of your audience, a part of your company. And imagine what it would look like is every single time someone went somewhere online, they also got to learn about your company because you were helping them build their platform. You were helping them build their personal brand, thus helping you build your company's brand. for so long, so many individuals, so many companies were focused on results, 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 results. And what they forgot to focus on is, how do I reach people? Somebody tell me who this is. That's Michael Phelps, right? He is the most winning Olympian of all time. Extraordinary results, and a ton of people know about him, thus why you know about him. Yes? This is Jenny Thompson. She is the equivalent to Michael Phelps. Very equivalent accolades, very equivalent accomplishments, but not as much reach. Here's the catch. It doesn't matter how good your content is if no one knows about it.
What I strongly believe is that building a business is not nearly as important as building your reputation. You may change businesses, you may change companies, but you're not changing your reputation anytime soon. It is something that you build that will stay with you no matter what you do or where you go. And if you focus on building that, you will build a very solid business.